All right. Cool. So, if everyone could please put in the chat this first box right here. Go ahead and let's get that started. All right. Awesome. So I'm seeing a lot of good answers in the chat. This is one of the first steps in the mouth, right? Because the mouth is where we start digestion. And what kind of digestion is the mouth responsible for? Do you remember that from yesterday? Specifically, the teeth. What are the teeth responsible for? Awesome. Great, great. I'm seeing mechanical digestion. So mechanical digestion, whoa, that is a big fat pen. All right, let's change that. All right. Mechanical. Mechanical digestion is happening in the mouth. But inside the mouth, you have these salivary glands, which you guys have kindly put into the chat. And the mechanical digestion is done by the teeth, while the salivary glands are responsible for, I'm going to put this in red, chemical digestion by the use of amylase. If you remember that enzyme from yesterday, amylase is responsible for breaking down carbohydrates and breaking it down into sugars and glucose, okay? Remember that from yesterday? So those polysaccharides are broken down into small little bits. That's where you turn, or you start, the chemical digestion of these carbohydrates, okay? So carbs broken down to glucose, okay? All right, good. So we've started digestion. We've started by chewing food in the mouth here, okay? With the mechanical digestion started by the teeth, you add the amylase in your saliva to this bolus of food, to the chyme, if you want to call it that, chyme, and then you swallow the food. It goes down to the pharynx and ends up, let's just follow the path down here. So underneath this box right here, you've got this organ. What organ is that? Awesome, Josiah, thank you very much. That is the esophagus. And the esophagus is responsible for bringing it to the stomach. And it connects the mouth to the stomach. Now, the process of moving this down to the stomach, what do we call that process? What muscle movement do we call that when we bring that down into the stomach? Go ahead and put that in the chat. Great, thank you very much. It is peristalsis. And peristalsis brings it down. It is a muscular motion. People would actually, or could actually consider peristalsis a part of mechanical digestion, because it's actually moving that bolus of food down. It's continuing to mash that food down the esophagus. It's a little bit of mechanical digestion, but mostly travel. But people actually, you can make the argument for the fact that it is or can be considered mechanical digestion. Okay, now once we get to the stomach, because we already said that the esophagus connects the mouth to the stomach, well, I just gave it away. This next organ is the stomach. Yeah, that's a really interesting question. I wonder how humans would get their food to the stomachs without the esophagus. It wouldn't be very effective. So inside the stomach, what's in the stomach that helps break down food even further? Do you guys remember what that what substance that's in the stomach in order to break this food down? Go ahead and put that in the chat, please. In the chat. Awesome. So I'm seeing a lot of different answers here. Well, mainly the fact that there is acid in there, and it's hydrochloric acid. So I'll write that down. Now, hydrochloric acid is a type of chemical digestion, of course, but what other type of digestion is happening in the stomach? What other type of digestion is happening in the stomach? I mean, there's only two, right? So yes, there is mechanical digestion going on. Because the stomach is so muscular, the stomach muscles provide mechanical digestion. Now, in that video, that TED Talk video that you saw yesterday, you saw that video where the stomach was kind of punching the food bolus back and forth and causing that food to break down into even smaller parts so that the hydrochloric acid can get in between all of the food molecules and break that down even further. So remember that we are now moving into an area where we need to start talking about absorption into the body. But in order to help that absorption of the body, we still have some organs that are helping us break food down even further. And let's talk about this one right here. What is this organ right here? Go ahead and put that in the chat for me, please. Excellent. That is the liver. Awesome. And what does the liver provide to the body? Or to the digestive system here? Awesome. Thank you. And it does provide bile. And actually, I wanted to mention one thing because Miss Klepper wanted to or put something in the chat. Yes, Miss Klepper, thank you for adding that. The stomach also breaks down proteins. All right, I'm going to put that in red over here as well. Proteins broken down in the stomach. Thank you, Miss Klepper. All right, so, but let's go back to the liver over here. Now, in the liver, you have bile that is produced, and that bile is responsible for breaking down fats. Now, when we're breaking down fats, that breakdown of the fats is not happening in the liver. Remember, liver is just making the bile. It sends the liver, or sorry, it sends the bile into this organ right here, and I'm going to highlight it in green because that's the color of this organ. What organ is this? You guys remember from that? Excellent, great. It is the gallbladder. Now, the gallbladder is responsible for carrying all of this bile. It holds down, it holds all that bile until the body is ready to use it. Basically, these signals that are sent from the stomach says, hey, I got a lot of cheese in here, some fatty foods that we need to break down. It's gonna send that signal to the gallbladder and say, hey, I need you. And it's going to send all of that bile into the duodenum once this chyme is put in there. All right. Now, the gallbladder stores that bile. But there's another organ over here that's responsible for another set of things. What are those things that I'm talking about? And first of all, what is this organ? First of all, what is that organ called? Sorry. All right, excellent. That is the pancreas. Zoom in. The pancreas. And what kind of chemicals does that provide to the digestive tract? All right, excellent. So yeah, it does provide insulin to help us regulate our blood sugar, and it neutralizes the stomach acids because we don't want to digest ourselves. Is there anything else the pancreas provides us? Are we good here? All right. So again, when you have these chemicals being added to the duodenum here, you've got bile that's breaking down those fats. You've got the proteins being broken down by the stomach. You've got sugars that have been broken down by the amylase. All of these things are happening in a chemical way, all right? And of course, there's other enzymes in the pancreas. Thank you, Ms. Klepper. The pancreas is releasing other enzymes as well. There's tons of enzymes that are breaking down foods even better. So you've got proteins, like in meats. You've got bile to break down those fats, like in the cheeses, all right? And then you've got the sugars, breaking down bread, carbohydrates, okay? All of these things are working together in order to digest your food. So once we get into the duodenum here and into, I mean, this is the beginning of this organ right here. I know this doesn't look like some of the pictures that we've talked about, but what is this organ right here? It's actually right here. Go ahead and put that in there. Awesome. Thank you very much. It is the small intestine. And what is that small intestine's job? Small intestine's real important job is to, thank you very much, it absorbs nutrients. Now, there's a lot of things in and throughout the small intestine that help. Now, what are these little finger-like projections called that help increase that surface area? Awesome. This is villi. And the villi are responsible for just basically making the stomach or making the small intestine seem a lot bigger than it really is. It packs a lot of material into one little space, so it can absorb more or the most nutrients that it can, okay? Like we discussed yesterday. Awesome. So we've moved on. Now that we're moving through the digestive system, all this fat, this protein, these sugars have been digested in and through the small intestine and absorbed. Everything is done. We've gotten everything we can, nutrient-wise, out of the small intestine. Now it's moving on to a different area. What's this large area around here in this box? Awesome, very good. It is the large intestine. And in the large intestine, what is the large intestine's job? Great, thank you very much. It absorbs water. Now, there's also a lot of other things in the large intestine as well. There's bacteria. Good bacteria, I'm going to put good there, because remember, that good bacteria, we need that good bacteria in order to digest some of the other things in our food that our body couldn't break down before, like some fiber, all right? So we need to be able to break that down. The bacteria in the gut are responsible for doing that, all right? Now, remember that because of all that bacteria, there's also this little tiny organ right over here that we that a lot of people always forget until there's like a problem. What is this organ called? Over here. You can put that in the chat. I know that's not one of the boxes that you need to fill in, but we know this guy. That is the appendix. Now, when the appendix ruptures, we know that a lot of bad things could happen when that appendix ruptures. And when it ruptures, it could release a lot of that bacteria in your abdomen, and that would just cause a lot of other problems. And you can get even like more sick if the appendix ruptures. So we want to make sure that if you feel that pain on the lower right side of your body, to make sure that you get seen right away. Now, once all of this food has made it through the large intestine and all that water has been absorbed out, we don't need any of that stuff anymore. And a lot of that stuff is food that we couldn't digest, and a lot of it is actually that bacteria that we are just getting rid of now. That bacteria is constantly being created, and they're replicating inside our intestine. So once they're done, they move out of this box right here called the what? Come on. That's right. It is the anus. It releases out of the anus. It collects here in the rectum and then comes out here in the anus. Whoa, that is not an S. What is that? The anus. All right. Now, let me put this up here. Geez, I can't spell today. All right. The anus is where we excrete the wastes. We don't need it anymore. So that can leave our body, and we are all done with the digestive system here. All right, so this is basically like a rundown of the entire path. Now we have some questions to answer over here. What digestive system or organ absorbs water? And we already discussed all of this. Go ahead and put that in the chat for me, please. The large intestine. Good, thank you very much. What organ makes and secretes insulin? Go ahead and put that in there. That would be B again, the pancreas. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate you guys. Everyone, please do your best to participate. We got some things to do here. So what type of digestion do the salivary glands perform? Salivary glands, specifically chemical or mechanical. Excellent, thank you very much. It is chemical. The glands themselves, the mouth is actually responsible for both. The mouth is responsible for mechanical and chemical, but specifically the salivary glands are chemical. Excellent. What would you most likely find in the stomach? Undigested food, food fiber, pepsin, hydrochloric acid, or all of the above? Excellent. It is all of the above. We find all of these things in the stomach. The stomach is a very busy place. All right. And what is normally found lining the small intestine? Circle one of these. It is villi. Awesome. And that is your warm-up for this morning. So again, these notes are going to be saved. And actually, I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to send and update my notes so you can see that I'm doing it. For those of you who want to view my notes in the calendar, I have these updated in the calendar. I think your other teachers, Ms. Klepper and Mr. Austin, also have it in their calendars as well. So that way you can use this to review if you happen to miss some things that we talked about today. Okay, so let's now put this aside. We have an activity. We're actually gonna first, Ms. Klepper and Mr. Austin, did you guys break up into your groups first, or did we do that later?
No, we had them first do this, make sure they had the app. Believe it or not, there were some people that didn't have it yet. And then we had them, if you scroll up, we had them do your step 2 and go into the settings menu and.
Okay, perfect. All right, so I will do that for everyone first. So first, what we need to do is, if you are following along with me, you need to go to the student app on your iPad. and download the Virtuality app onto your iPad. Please do that if you have not done that yet.
Hope you
Give
did it
me-
today because it takes a while. So hopefully it's done.
Hopefully it's done. Are you guys finding it? Give me a thumbs up if you've already got it loaded. Okay, awesome, great. Ms. Klepper, Mr. Austin, are you waiting on a couple of students as well?
Does everybody have it? Everyone has it here. Okay, we're good.
You're good. Mr. Austin.
Yeah, we're good.
All right, you're good? Okay. You need a little more time? Okay. All right, I'm gonna give myself another minute for my guys.
Hopefully students at home did this yesterday, but they also need the picture of the rib cage at home.
Yep.
I don't think you can Google it. Because
Oh.
it was we had to buy it, the shirt.
That's right.
If you already have the app, you could go ahead and do the next step, which is going in and changing the volume, lowering the volume a little, because it's very loud when you first turn it on.
Yep. So go ahead and do this. If you are still waiting to load the app, that's fine. Everyone else, go ahead and go to step number 2. Open the app. Open up the settings menu on the top left of the screen. And I'm gonna do this for you so you can follow along on my screen here, okay? So if we open this app, we're gonna wait for that to load. I'm gonna continue. And I know that it's scanning for the t-shirt right now. Don't worry about that. I want you to look at this right here. This is the
You need to get close. So,
all right, so once you are in the settings, you're gonna wanna turn this volume down because for some reason, when they automatically download this for some of your iPads, it's all the way up and this guy's loud, okay? So bring it down to a reasonable level. If you want subtitles, you can pick whatever language you want, but right now I suggest to have the subtitles on because I like reading it and following along with my ears. It kind of helps me learn. So I like to turn on the subtitles. If you are choosing to pick a language, if you are comfortable in a different language, you can select Spanish. So if you go here, you can select Spanish, speech and text, and that'll help you out if you want to do that. If not, keep it in English, should be good to go. This is pretty much all you really need right now for this screen, the volume and the subtitles on. All right? Once you are done, give me a thumbs up that you are good with the app here. Awesome, great.
so, wait, hold on, Aiden, have a seat. So here's the thing, last hour, people did not do this next step that we're about to talk about. And you can't answer some of the questions that are gonna be in the challenge to see if you can win candy if you don't do the next step. Okay, so everyone needs to listen right now about what you're gonna do next.
All right, so let's go back to the notability directions here. And if we're looking at the activity instructions. So right now, around my classroom, there are a bunch of t-shirts pinned onto the wall. I have a bunch of them. So go ahead and you can kind of pair up into those groups. What you're gonna do is point your iPad to the picture of the t-shirt in front of you and select the guide at the bottom. Looks like a cartoon doctor speaking. I'm gonna do this for you here right now. So you can look, so you're looking at it. So I'm gonna go back and I've got this picture right here, okay? Once it scans the picture, it's gonna look like this. You can see the cartoon doctor guy on the bottom. Let's tap the doctor guy.
Hello, my name is Dr. Glover. I am your
So
virtual
that's Dr.
expert
Glover.
on
I'm gonna go back because
physiology
I don't want
and
to talk right
Let's
now.
explore and learn
So
about
stop
your
talking,
body.
Dr. Glover. All right. So when you're talking with Dr. Glover, I want you to remember, come on. that you're going to be listening to him. You're going to press the digestive button and listen to Dr. Glover talk. You can do this as a group or you can do it by yourself. If you have headphones, I suggest using your headphones so you can listen to what he's saying. Explore anything to do with the digestive system. You don't need to look at any of the other systems right now. Just go ahead and listen to the digestive section. Once you are done doing this, I'm going to give you maybe 5-ish minutes to do this. Then we'll start our activity. All right, so right now you're doing number 3, 4, and 5. I will leave 3, 4, and 5 on the screen for you while you get.
Oh, you need to find one
station.
of the pictures and you have to hold it there. So I put some of them on the count. Hold on.
Yes, you can work as a group. You can use one iPad. Yes, that's why I said you can work as a group, just listen to each other's iPad or whatever, okay? So go ahead and find, there's multiple t-shirts all over the classroom. There's some over here in the corner. There's one over there. There's one over by Leah. There's actually 3 over by Leah.
Pause the recording.
You have to keep your iPad pointing to the picture. Now, I have more. I'm gonna lay them on the counters if that will help you a little better. So that way you don't have to hold it up to the picture. I'll just lay them all out.
Mr. Austin, did you hear me? You should pause the recording.
So remember, the esophagus is definitely where peristalsis is happening. It uses peristalsis to push that food down into the stomach. The small intestine is also going through peristalsis. If you went through the actual Virtuality app and you looked up and down the small intestine, you can see the waves of peristalsis moving food down. You can see the villi moving and kind of swaying around with that peristalsis. It's actually happening in the small intestine as well. And of course, in the large intestine, movement of that feces all the way down to your rectum has to be done by something, and peristalsis is responsible for that. So that's challenge question number 2. And the last one that I got wrong was challenge question number 5. Acid in your stomach activates enzymes that start digestion. What else does it do? It actually kills bacteria. D is killing bacteria. Now, when you're eating food, if you happen to ingest any bacteria, it needs to be killed by your stomach because you don't want any bacteria to go into your small intestine. That's not a place for bacteria. Okay. So the answer that I got was converts carbohydrates into simple sugars. That's actually begins in your mouth. When you actually start chewing the food and the saliva starts breaking down those polysaccharides in your food, that's what's happening, and you're breaking down those simple sugars as well. So that's all I got for wrong answers. Ms. Klepper, Mr. Austin, do you have any wrong answers that you want to review?
No.
Nope.
Number
Thank you,
1.
sir.
Number 1, what was it? Sorry, Desai said number 1. I'm not seeing it in my pile.
Number 1 is, I can read it. Which of the following is not found inside the stomach? Acid, chyme, enzymes, or bile?
So where
Bile.
bile is made in the liver, so you won't find it in the stomach.
So who just said it was enzymes?
Mike.
Y'all got it wrong too.
So they're wanting to say enzymes as the option, as the answer, but
There are some digestive enzymes that are released in the stomach. Yes.
yeah.
All right, so let's move on. We are done with this activity. Thank you very much, everyone, for playing. I'm hoping you enjoyed your nice thing. So let's get back to the homework. Let's get the homework started. The last 20 minutes or 18 minutes left of class. You can get this started in your groups. If you have group people that you want to work with, you can. I would suggest you talking this through with some friends if you're able to. So let me share my screen and we'll get started. And I'll tell you what's going on with the ham sandwich, okay? So the ham sandwich homework is on page 8. All right. So basically, if you look at some of these directions, I kind of want you to focus on these right here. The directions are pretty easy. You're talking about all the things that are in a ham sandwich, okay? If you're talking about the bread, whoops, the sliced deli ham, I like sliced deli ham, slice of provolone cheese, and green leaf lettuce. Those are all the things that are in, a normal ham sandwich, the ham sandwiches that I like to eat. All right. Now, when you eat this sandwich, you have to for this homework assignment, you have to try to think about the steps. Now, in your groups or by yourself, discuss the voyage that your ham sandwich takes in this chart below. You're going to talk about the location of the food. So let's say we start with the mouth. Tell me what's happening in the mouth. Tell me the kind of digestion that's happening and explain what happens to the food in general at that location. All right, so just tell me what's happening at each spot. You're going to go through each step through the digestive system all the way down. You may or may not fill in all of these boxes, and that's okay if you don't. Okay, I want you to try your best to give me all the spots that you can think of that aid in our digestion. Now, notice here I say add any organs that add anything. What organs do you think I'm talking about here? All right, awesome. Someone said liver, gallbladder, pancreas, all those things. And what do those things do? Think about how those organs help you digest some of these things in that ham sandwich. Okay? Now, do your best. Work as a group if you would like, or if you want to just work on this on your own. This is your homework tonight. So go ahead and get that started. Ms. Klepper, Mr. Austin, do you have any questions or anything to add to this?
Nope, just that there are some questions on the second page. And doing this activity, it says it's a pre-lab activity because it's gonna help you understand tomorrow and our lab that we're doing tomorrow. You can work on it in group if you want. No, not gonna